When Doctor Who burst back onto television in 2005, newcomers and old fans alike were treated with a new and fresh reintroduction to the widely beloved science fiction series. With the release of Doctor Who's newest series opener, the pilot, I'll be examining just what makes one most effective and where the Series 10 premiere ranks with the rest of those in New Who. I'm going to be looking at these episodes holistically, rather than following any chronological order like starting from Series 1 and going on and on and on until I get to 10. Instead, let's think about two categories that these episodes can fall into: jumping on points and non-jumping on points. So, the pilot is a good jumping on point, and so is the 11th Hour, Smith and Jones, The Runaway Bride, and Rose. That's it. Yes, you could argue for some other stories, but those episodes often heavily rely on pre-existing information as a part of the plot, rather than using it to build mystery and intrigue like the previous 5 stories I mentioned did. The series openers that are being discounted for not being effective jumping on points are New Earth, which pits the viewer in one of the Doctor and Rose's latest adventures, Partners in Crime, which relies too heavily on the Doctor and Donna's pre-established relationship, The Impossible Astronaut, that yes attempts to bring new viewers up to speed, but is just far too riddled with the previous series baggage to be considered a jumping on point, and finally Asylum of the Daleks, Deep Breath, and The Magician's Apprentice for the same reasons. That means we are left with 5 stories. These are jumping on points which can be the most essential part to any series opener for a show like Doctor Who. So which of these episodes did this best, and can stand on their own as good Doctor Who stories? Well, let me tell you, it's not going to be this one. Smith and Jones is a functioning story that introduces new creatures and takes the reboot show to an exciting new location, aka the Moon. But it's just that, a functioning, okay story that doesn't really have any relevance other than to introduce a companion. The Runaway Bride is similar to this, but it has a more entertaining and memorable Doctor-companion relationship and a slightly more interesting plot. So since these 2 stories fall into the realm of just okay Doctor Who, I'm now going to be focusing on what I like to call the Big 3. These 3 episodes being Rose, The 11th Hour, and the pilot. At this point, it simply falls to taste. Which story do you like better? Personally, I wouldn't choose the 11th Hour. It did have a much tougher job to do than the pilot, but I think it is very overrated, and it only made it into my Big 3 because it is technically a jumping on point. Other than Matt Smith's 11th Doctor and Karen Gillan's Amy Pond, there isn't much to like about this story for me. And one could argue the same about the pilot. The performances of Mackie and Capaldi are the highlights, but I think this episode does a better job easing in new viewers, while still delivering an entertaining story. So the big moment. Which is better, Rose or the pilot? I could spend more time comparing the entirety of the 2, but they're actually very similar in quality. The pilot does have some better moments than Rose, and vice versa, but when deciding which is better, you can boil it down into a comparison of the premise of each story. Rose Tyler meets a mysterious stranger, and her life will never be the same again. Bill Potts meets a quirky university lecturer, and her life will never be the same again. So what's the difference between these 2 descriptions, and why is the episode of Rose the best series opener, while the pilot just falls short? It's simple: mystery and intrigue. What is a more interesting quality, mysterious or quirky? Obviously, it's not the latter, and that's why Rose serves as the best series premiere and jumping on point for new Doctor Who. Because while the quality of these 2 episodes are evenly matched, it's the mystery that will hook new viewers and keep longtime fans interested. The mystery is in the title, Doctor Who. And the pilot just doesn't reignite the mystery into the Doctor as effectively as Rose did. So that's my thoughts on the pilot, and where it stands in the rest of New Who's premieres and series openers. What did you all think of the pilot? And do you think that we're ever going to have a better series opener than Rose? I have been working on a sort of animated series. Link will be in the description. I've released the first episode. There are a couple trailers up on the channel. If you'd like to check that out, it's really just a passion project of mine, and I've had a lot of fun making it, and I'd like to make some more in the future. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, that would be fantastic. Oh, and before I forget, thank you for all the support in my previous video about Bill Potts and her sexuality. I'd like to say, well done, Stephen Moffat. After witnessing what they did with Bill Potts' character in the pilot, I have to say, all of my fears and anxieties about how they were going to write her have been completely thrown out the window. I am loving her character. She's great. Pearl Mackie is a fantastic actress, and I feel like Stephen Moffat has written her very, very well. So, thanks for watching, and I'll probably be back with more Doctor Who Series 10 related content because that's just what I love.